I have moved houses 4 times in 20 years. I have thrown away my high school diploma. I lost my wedding ring for 6 months. But there is one small piece of paper, faded, torn at the corner, barely readable, that I have carried in my wallet since I was 17 years old. Tonight, I'm going to tell you why I can't throw it away. And by the end of this story, you're going to check your own wallet, your own drawer, your own shoebox, because somewhere you have one too. You just forgot. Before we go there, hit subscribe right now, because this channel is about the things we keep and why they keep us. Drop a comment and tell me the one object you can never throw away. And if this story moves you, share it with someone who still has a ticket stub in an old jacket pocket. Let's begin. It was a Tuesday. Nobody remembers Tuesdays. But I remember this one like it happened an hour ago. I was 17. Broke. Broke the way only a teenager can be. $5 in my pocket and a dream way bigger than my bank account. My best friend Danny had 2 tickets to a concert, a band we'd been obsessed with since middle school. He was supposed to take his girlfriend. They broke up that afternoon. He called me, voice shaking, and said 4 words that changed everything. "You're coming with me." I didn't ask questions. I grabbed my jacket. I told my mom I was staying at Danny's, which was technically true. And we drove 40 minutes down a highway that felt endless, windows down, radio up, laughing about nothing and everything. We didn't know it yet, but that ticket in my pocket wasn't just a piece of paper. It was about to become the last normal night of my childhood. The venue was small, sweaty, loud in the best way. We pushed to the front row, shoulder to shoulder with strangers who felt like family for 3 hours. I remember the exact moment the lights dropped, and the crowd screamed so loud my ears rang for 2 days after. Danny turned to me during the encore. He was grinning like I'd never seen before. He shouted over the music, "We have to remember this. Promise me we'll remember this." I promised. I had no idea that promise would become the heaviest thing I ever carried. 3 weeks later, Danny was gone. Car accident. Late at night, alone on the same highway we'd driven laughing just weeks before. I'm not going to dwell on the details, because this isn't a story about how he died. This is a story about how he lived, and about the one thing that proved it. I went into a kind of fog after that. The kind where days blur and you forget to eat and everyone around you speaks in slow motion. I cleaned out my room without thinking, threw away notebooks, old shoes, broken headphones. My mom said grief makes you want to erase things. Like if you remove the evidence, the pain leaves too. I almost threw away my jacket, the one from that night, but when I reached into the pocket to check for trash, I found the ticket, torn, crumpled, barely holding together, and written across the back, in Danny's handwriting, in blue pen, were the words, "Best night ever, don't forget." He must have written it in the car on the way home, while I was half asleep against the window, while neither of us knew it was the last thing he'd ever hand me. If this story is hitting you right now, if you're thinking about your own ticket, comment below and tell me what it is. I read every single one. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, because next week's story might be the one that finally makes you go find yours. I didn't understand, at 17, what that ticket would become. At first, it was just grief. I kept it because it was the last thing his hand had touched before mine. In my 20s, it became something different. A reminder. Every time life got heavy, a breakup, a layoff, a year that felt like it was crushing me, I'd open my wallet and see that torn corner peeking out, and I'd remember, he never got a 20s. He never got a bad breakup he'd laugh about later, or a job he hated, or a mortgage, or gray hair. He got one perfect night, and he knew it was perfect while it was happening. That's the part that haunts me. Most of us don't recognize the best nights of our lives until they're long behind us. Danny knew it in real time. He stopped mid-song to tell me. By my 30s, the ticket had become something else entirely. Not grief. Not even memory exactly. It became a compass. Every big decision I've made since every, should I take this risk? Every, should I say yes to this crazy thing? I think about a 17-year-old kid who had $5 and a whole life ahead of him, and who still made sure to say, "Remember this," in the middle of living it. Last year, I did something I hadn't done in over a decade. I drove back to that same venue. It's different now, remodeled, new name, new paint. but the bones of the building are the same. I stood outside in the parking lot with the ticket in my hand, and for the first time in years, I let myself cry about it. Not the sad kind of crying, the grateful kind. Because here's what I finally understood, standing in that parking lot as a grown man. Danny didn't just give me a ticket that night. He gave me a lesson I've spent my whole life trying to live up to. Notice the good nights while you're in them. Don't wait for hindsight to tell you something was special. Say it out loud. Write it down. Turn to the person next to you and say, "Remember this," because you might not get another chance to say it later. I still carry that ticket. It's so worn now you can barely read the band's name. But Danny's handwriting, "Best night ever, don't forget," somehow, that part never fades. Maybe because I run my thumb over it so often it's practically burned into the fibers. Scroll. Because here's the thing, I never told you at the start. That torn corner on the ticket? That's not damage. That's where Danny grabbed it back from me laughing, refusing to let me hold it the whole ride home right before he pulled it apart just enough to hand me half. He kept the other half in his own pocket that night. Nobody ever found it. I used to think I kept it because I couldn't let go. Now I know I keep it because it's the only object I own that taught me how to actually live. So here's my question for you, and I want a real answer in the comments. What is the ticket you never threw away? The photograph. The voicemail you can't delete. The shirt still in the back of your closet. The birthday card in your nightstand drawer. We all have one. Most of us just haven't stopped long enough to ask ourselves why. If this story meant something to you, hit subscribe. This channel exists for stories exactly like this one. Real, human, and a little bit heavy in the best way. Comment your own ticket below. I promise I read them. And share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Because somewhere out there, someone is holding on to something they don't yet realize is a compass. Take care of your people. Say the good nights out loud while you're still in them. I'll see you in the next story.